Hi, I'm Charles Galda, your host for Vision New England's Church in Action program. This week, I'm talking with Mary Swank. Mary is the Associate Outreach Director at Valley Community Baptist Church in Avon, Connecticut. Mary, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Hey, maybe give us a little bit of background for you, for people, a little background bio. Who are you? Where are you from? How'd you wind up at Valley?
Sure. So I am wife to Jeff. I am mom to Jeremy and Drew, who are both adults. I am grandma to Jasmine and Joseph.
That can't be right, Mary.
Uh,
That can't be right. You're far too young.
oh, well, thank you for that. Yes, especially since Jasmine and Joseph are 18 and 16.
Are you? They really? Holy
They
man.
really are. Yes. So I was born and raised in sunny Southern California and lived there until I was 20. And then I moved to Eastern North Carolina and lived there for 23 years. So I consider myself to be Southern. My husband, Jeff, and I moved to Connecticut in 2007 for a job opportunity for him. And it gave him a chance to be within a day's drive of his family that's mostly in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And honestly, Valley was the place that most people recommended to us when we said that we were looking for a church and that we were looking for something, you know, in the Protestant evangelical realm. People recommended Valley.
Nice. And so Valley is in Avon, and so tell us a little about Valley, if you would, please.
So Valley would be considered a large church for New England. There are about, 1,000, 1,200 people that come through on a weekend. We've got a great variety of things going on for all ages, which I love. And I think really it's our desire to make disciples that multiply disciples, and just to be a light and a source of hope where people will hopefully find Jesus in our local community. And we have a big reach also in global missions.
Well, and you're also not just as Avon as a key player in something we call Thrive Farmington Valley, but you're a key player in Thrive Farmington Valley. What is Thrive, and what made you get excited about it?
Yeah, so Thrive is an opportunity. It's a Friday night and Saturday conference, if you will, an opportunity for the churches in the Farmington Valley, all of the Christian churches, to come together to worship and to learn about issues that are affecting the communities around us in our local area. And then once we identify those issues, well, what are we going to do about them? Right. So when the people of God step inside the issues of a community and love people the way Jesus did, there's real hope for change and for people, again, to come to know and follow Jesus. So I got involved in Thrive. Honestly, the first year I attended Thrive, I was asked to be on a panel with Liz Babbitt and the folks from Johnny and Friends. And then 2 years later, I came into my position as the Associate Director of Outreach. And so that was part of my focus on local outreach. So it became part of my job. But I have to tell you, I've loved it. And so, you know, whether I stay in this position or move to a different position, I would still be involved in Thrive because I believe in what it's doing.
So we talk a lot about the outcomes of Thrive, and they're organic, and we don't always know what they are and stuff like that. So is your coming on staff at Valley an outcome of Thrive?
Well, disability ministry definitely is an outcome of Thrive. And I would say local outreach, our pastor, Rob O'Neill, has a huge passion for local outreach. And so I think that drove the connection with Valley and Vision New England as far as us hosting Thrive. And then for me, again, it was part of the job. And our passion for local outreach definitely made the job possible because it's a new position. I'm actually the first permanent director in that position. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And so I do want to talk about disability, but maybe could you spotlight for folks a few other things that have come out of Thrive?
Foster care ministry, 100% came out of Thrive for Valley. So now we actually have a thriving ministry for foster care. So encouraging families from Valley to become foster parents, which we actually have had a couple families do. And then our foster care team has created wraparound teams for them, which has been great. But we've also begun a partnership, which you're not going to believe this, with the Department of Children and Families, where their main office is in New Britain, Connecticut. And it has been a very sweet partnership. They actually come to us and ask for help and support when it comes to supporting foster families. We've done some things inside of their DCF office just to make it a more inviting space when families and children are in there being served through foster care. And so that has been a really sweet partnership that is 100% an outcome from Thrive.
It's so fascinating because we do know, there's times government seems hostile to churches and or ambivalent at best, but really you're the second person I know who has a really deep working relationship with DCF, Department of Children and Families in Connecticut, because the other one is the human trafficking ministry, the Underground.
Yes.
Who also, when we're doing things that the state cares about, like taking care of foster kids, helping kids avoid being trafficked, the state loves us.
Absolutely, because let's face it, their funding and their resources are limited.
Yep.
And I mean, so are ours, but the two together, that's powerful. And like I said, there's such a bridge that's been created between us and that state agency. And you'd be surprised at how many Christians are actually working in those types of agencies, right? Because they want to do the right thing by children and families, just like Jesus did. So.
And government agencies know there's stuff they can't legally do, they can't practically do. To your point, they can't financially do. And so they're happy to have churches come alongside them and fill the gaps of the things they can't do. And so that's so cool. That's a Thrive outcome and doing so well. I remember you also mentioning a homeless ministry that came out of Thrive.
Yes. So there is a place in Torrington that opened up in July called Harbor House. And Harbor House is serving the homeless population and those on the fringe of homelessness. And that was a result of Thrive as well. A little bit of a backhanded result, but a cool result. Yeah. So as a part of Thrive, we heard some stories from a homeless ministry that's happening in Bristol. And after Thrive, our senior adult pastor asked this particular ministry to come and to present at one of his monthly luncheons. In attendance was a Valley member named Ann Busa, who heard what they were doing in Bristol. She and her husband, John, had been uniquely involved in homeless ministry in Torrington for a long time, and were so aware of the fact that resources were dwindling. Individuals and places that were serving these folks were going under. And so there were huge gaps. And she sat there in that lunch and just said, in my spirit, I just kept saying, we need that in Torrington. We need that in Torrington. And so they met with the folks in Bristol, had a conversation. And like I said, I mean, it was within 6 months. They had a 501c3, they had a building. And God has just launched this incredible ministry that is partnering with all sorts of agencies, so government agencies, but also just local people and businesses in Torrington to serve this beautiful population of people. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And so it's always the same thing with Thrive that I find so fascinating is all we do. And you've heard me say it before, is put the problems of our communities in front of the people of God. And it doesn't turn into, hey, Mary, we're trying to get this thing going. I know you're busy. Would you take? It just becomes he calls and convicts someone and they're not bothered by the extra work because to them it's life-giving because God's called them to it.
Absolutely.
And all these things happen just organically. And it's so cool. But now there's another one. So disability has a connection to Thrive for you. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So we had just begun what we call friendship community at Valley, maybe a few months before the summer before the fall that I attended my first Thrive and was asked to be a part of that disability panel. Well, there I met the wonderful Liz Babbitt, right, from Johnny and Friends. And our world changed because they came alongside us. They were aware that we had a heart to do something for the disability community. But, to be honest, we're just, kind of scrambling and doing the best that we could. They came alongside and gave us resources and training and encouragement. And we've been partnered with them now for 3 years, and it's just been fantastic. So, yes.
I think so many of us, and Liz has been on the show a number of times, but so many of us have had this idea, and I did, that unless you've got $1.5 million to get started, you really can't do anything in space.
Absolutely.
What you find out is that there's actually such basic things that we could all do that cost no money, requires no expertise or clinical training or medical training or anything. And so now what are these friendship communities? What is that?
So Friendship Community happens once a week on Thursday nights, and it's for adults living with disability and their caregivers. So when we started 3 years ago, there was my pal Rebecca and I and one family living with disability. So a son and his 2 parents. So it was us in the room. And now 3 years later, we had a Valentine's party last Thursday, and there were 70 people in the room. Now, mind you, that's like 12 of my volunteers and probably 8 parents and caregivers. For the most part, the individuals that come are independent enough to come on their own. Like, it's a great thing for their families. They can drop them off and go do errands or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it gives them a little bit of a respite. But it doesn't matter to us. We are happy with anyone that wants to come and be a part of the community. We're excited to have them, and everyone is welcome. So it's a fun way to build community, Charles. Honestly, most of the people in the room, with the exception of my volunteers, have no church background at all. There are a handful that do, but the rest do not. And they don't seem to mind to come to a church. As long as they feel loved and welcomed and it's a safe space, they are thrilled to come, and they tell everybody that they know, and people just keep coming. I probably have, out of a 4-week month, I would say at least 4 to 5 visitors coming every single month just to check us out, see what it's about. Simple. We do fun things once a month because they love it. We do karaoke night. You have not experienced joy until you have done karaoke night with a bunch of people just living their stardom right there. And again, that's a free thing, right? Karaoke. We have game night once a month where we have a magnetic woman named Betty who calls bingo. And then there's other options for games, that people want to play. And then the other 2 to 3 weeks of the month, we just kind of come up with it. We just look for things that are fun, that would be engaging. We ask the friends their input as far as what they want to do. We do some field trip things like bowling and, going to a local ball game, those kinds of things. We do cookouts. Again, it's not rocket science. They don't require anything fancy. They just want to be together, and they're so appreciative of the fact that we're willing to come and spend time with them, and they get to spend time with one another. So it's great.
And great. So as Mary, it's almost like you think that if we were to let our light shine in such a way that people saw our good works, they might glorify our Father in heaven. Is that what you're talking
I think that might happen. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's amazing. It really is just amazing. It's the most joy-filled place that you've ever experienced. I'll steal a line from Johnny and Friends. It's a slice of heaven.
Yeah. It's and I'm a huge Johnny Erickson Tata fan. I think most of them are. And I just remember her saying years ago that the church cannot be the church without those affected by disability.
100%.
We're supposed to be incorporating into the life of church the weakest among us, and that's her point was, and that's us.
Yes.
And so you can't be the church if you leave us out.
No. And the fun thing about it, Charles, is that as the word has gotten out, there have been secular agencies that have called and said, I heard about something you're doing called Friendship Community. Can you tell me about it? When I tell them about it, they say, can I visit? And they'll come. And mostly what they say is we cannot we can't even describe the joy that's in the room, but they're so impressed by the fact that the scale is huge of ages. So I think the youngest that I have probably is 18, all the way up to, we have a 70-year-old gentleman, and a wide variety of abilities, if you will.
Okay.
So folks with Down syndrome, folks living with cerebral palsy, folks on the autism spectrum, everything in between, and they interact so beautifully. It's a sweet thing.
It's the kind of thing where, again, you don't need training, right?
No.
You just need to have sensitivities, and Johnny and Friends is great at helping with those kinds of things, and some planning and the ability to execute and be consistent and be faithful in it. And it really is just just creating space for people to know each other and build community. Now, is that when you started out and you felt a calling to do something in disability?
Yes.
Is this what you pictured?
No, I had no idea that it would be this big, number one. I mean, who could have ever thought that we would have something like this? And to be honest with you, I twisted Rebecca's arm to join me because my arm was twisted to start it. And our deal was that we were going to do it for about 6 months and then find some people that actually knew what they were doing and hand it over to them and just, pat ourselves on the back for doing a good thing. And now it's like, you can't wrench it from us. We love it. The volunteers love it. And I was just saying last night to someone, I can't get my volunteers out of the room at the end of the evening on Thursday. I usually will just say, guys, I'm going home. I've been here all day. You know how to turn the lights off.
Well, and I think about, and you alluded to this, I think about the witness. So we're called to do justice. You are doing justice,
Yes.
period. Hard stop. Regardless of anything ever comes of it, that is doing justice. But I think about the evangelistic impact of the people who are participating, telling their friends, telling their family, state agencies, talking about what churches are doing, and people coming back with, so this is what we hear. Why this is what the church does? Why do churches do this? And
Yes.
that just opens the door to talk about Jesus.
Yes, and it has, because it's one thing, especially the families that stay each week. I've got 2 moms that I'm picturing in my head right now that specifically, one has no ties to church, and she's very clear she doesn't want any ties to a church. And the other one whose husband attends Catholic church. But they both said to me, Mary, it does not make any sense. You have no one in the room with a disability. Why would you come do this every week? And so for me, honestly, Friendship Community is not it's not an outreach ministry, believe it or not. It doesn't fall under outreach at Valley. It falls under care. So Friendship for me is a volunteer role. And they're just blown away by that. Why would you do that? And so it has opened up an opportunity to talk about Jesus so openly, about the love and care that he gives to me every single day of my life. So how could I not return that kindness, to others around me? And they still don't get it, but they're hearing it. They're not just hearing it, they're seeing it. And it's been consistent over 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
That's
Yeah.
so often we have this rubric in our mind of what evangelism looks like. And it's, Billy Graham, which I can't do, or it's walk up to people on the street or sit next to them on the plane, which I can't do. And and so we end up not doing it.
Yep.
And what you're experiencing, and what I've heard from so many others who are doing things like you're doing in other spheres of ministry, it's like when we just do what Jesus told us to do, to serve the least among us, the common question is, why are you doing this?
Yes. Yes. Because it makes no sense. That's not what people do, right?
It's startling to the world. And the answer is so simple. It's because this is what Jesus did, and this is what he told his followers to do. It's that simple.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the cool thing that's come out of it, well, there's so many cool things that's come out of it, but we've been praying since the first time that we met, Lord, let people come to know you through this. Mm-hmm. And it finally came to a place where Rebecca and I said, well, you know what, we're doing this amazing thing on Thursday nights, but what happens if some of them actually decide they want to come to Valley? And we have wonderful services. We do. And Rob is great. But for people that have sensitivities to light and sound and all of that. And you get some folks with some cognitive difficulties. A regular service might not be the easiest way for them to come on board.
Yep.
So we decided to offer something that we call Friendship on Sunday. It started last June. And so during our 10:30 service, there's an opportunity for any age now, not just adults, but any age to come and join us in our handful of volunteers. And we actually stay about a week behind Rob in his sermon series. And we take it and we break it down into the key points and make it friendly for all abilities, all ages. So imagine some storytelling in there, maybe some games in there, hands-on things in there. We use music. We use video sometimes. We just get as creative as we can and there's small group discussion and time for questions. And so that has been a slow build. But the amazing thing about it, I'll say, last May, we had just begun to talk about Friendship on Sundays on Thursday nights. We're telling them, hey, this is coming. For those of you who've been with us and who want to learn more about Jesus, who want to experience the Bible in a way that you could actually understand and relate to. And we had a brand new family that joined us on Thursday nights, the week that we started promoting. And they love Thursdays so much. They said, well, we're going to come on Sundays just because we want more for our son. And they started coming. And this guy's mom remembered that at one time she actually did have a love for God. And life had been hard for the last 20 years since they had their son. And she's renewed her commitment to Jesus. Her unsaved husband comes every week. And her son, who is nonverbal, and we're not exactly sure how much he understands, but he participates every single week. Every song that we do, I introduce one song a month so they can really learn it and try to pick things that they'll remember the words and the words will become meaningful. Every single month, he chooses that song and he sings it at karaoke night on Thursdays. And he's saying every word in the way that somebody who's nonverbal could say, but every single word.
Wow. How cool. How cool is that?
It's so cool.
And so, Mary, we've only got a couple minutes left, but if you're thinking about someone who is listening to this and saying, this sounds amazing. I love that story. I love what you're doing. I love answering the call. Maybe I'm supposed to do this. What would you tell them? How do they get started? Who would they talk to? What would they do?
Yeah. So pray. Talk to your church's leadership and get permission to start small. Find yourself one or two partners that will just be in it with you and put the word out. Talk to the families that you already have. Let them know to talk to families that they know. That's how we got all of our folks. And the Lord is never going to bring more people than he's going to bring volunteers for you to manage. I will tell you that. He's always super faithful about that. And I would just say run with your strengths. For Rebecca and I, we were longtime youth leaders. So we throw in some youth leader magic in there, right? Stuff that we could do with youth group works with this particular group of folks. But I've often said, if you have people that are passionate about crafts, do crafts. You have people that love to play games, do games. This community really does not require a ton of resources or a ton of creativity either. Just run with your strengths, and there will be people in the disability community that will come and they will love you and hopefully learn to love Jesus in the process.
That's a great way to end it, Mary. Thanks so much. Thank you for taking some time to talk to us about this today.
My
thank
pleasure.
you for your ministries at Valley. Thank you for this ministry in particular. Thanks for our partnership. Thank you for our friendship. I'm really grateful to you, Mary. God bless you.
Me too, Charles. Thank you so much.
This program is created by Vision New England, which accelerates evangelism by helping the church work in unity to make disciples, do justice, and share Jesus, so New England will be transformed by the love of Jesus. You can find additional resources and support our mission at visionnewengland.org. We want to thank our friends at World Vision who are celebrating 75 years of God's faithfulness and trusting Him with a worldwide vision to end extreme poverty for children everywhere. Join us next Sunday at 2 p.m. on Life Changing Radio. Thank you and God bless you.
At Leadership Transformations, we believe that when you have the right resources to help you slow down and experience a deep and refreshing connection to God, you can become the discerning leader you know you are created to be. Friends, Steve Macchia here, and I have a free gift for your soul. It's called Pathways. Pathways is our weekly email aimed at offering you soul-nourishing content for the journey. It contains readings, prayers, spiritual practices, a link to the Discerning Leader podcast, as well as information about all of our upcoming soul care retreats, workshops, and online offerings. So head on over to leadershiptransformations.org today and sign up for this free resource. It will help you slow down and be more. God bless you, friends.